Hello, students! Today we are going to learn one of the most important topics in English grammar, the 12 English tenses. Tenses help us understand when an action happens. Every action in English takes place in the past, present, or future. Each of these 3 time periods has 4 forms: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Together, they make the 12 English tenses. Learning tenses is essential because we use them every day when speaking, writing, reading, and listening. Whether you are talking about your daily routine, describing a past experience, discussing your current activities, or making future plans, you need the correct tense. Mastering the 12 tenses will make your English more accurate, natural, and professional. 1. Simple present tense. The simple present tense describes habits, routines, facts, and things that are generally true. Structure: subject plus verb, base form. For he, she, and it, add s or es to the verb. Examples: I study English every day. She works at a bank. The sun rises in the east. We play football on weekends. This tense is commonly used when talking about daily activities. For example, I wake up at 6 o'clock every morning. I eat breakfast, go to work, and return home in the evening. Notice that these are regular actions that happen repeatedly. In real life, people use the simple present tense when introducing themselves. For example, I live in Phnom Penh. I teach English. I enjoy reading books. Because these facts are generally true, the simple present tense is the correct choice. 2. Present continuous tense. The present continuous tense describes actions happening right now or around the current time. Structure: subject plus m slash is slash or plus verb ing. Examples: I am studying English now. She is talking on the phone. They are playing football. We are learning grammar today. Imagine you are sitting in a classroom. You can say, the teacher is explaining the lesson. The students are listening carefully. Some students are taking notes. These actions are happening at this moment. People frequently use this tense during phone conversations. For example, what are you doing? I am watching television. My brother is cooking dinner. The present continuous tense helps us describe activities currently in progress. 3. Present perfect tense. The present perfect tense describes actions that happened in the past but have a connection to the present. Structure: subject plus has slash have plus past participle. Examples: I have finished my homework. She has visited Thailand. We have completed the project. They have learned English for several years. Suppose you have just completed an assignment. You can say, I have finished my work. The action happened in the past, but the result is important now. In conversations, people often use this tense to discuss experiences. For example, have you ever visited Angkor Wat? Yes, I have visited it twice. This tense is extremely common when discussing life experiences. 4. Present perfect continuous tense. The present perfect continuous tense describes actions that started in the past and continue until now. Structure: subject plus has slash have been plus verb ing. Examples: I have been studying English for 3 years. She has been working here since 2022. They have been playing football all afternoon. We have been waiting for an hour. This tense emphasizes the duration of an activity. For example, I have been reading this book for 2 weeks. The action started in the past and is still continuing. Students often use this tense to talk about their learning journey. For example, I have been practicing English every day for 6 months. This shows continuous effort over time. 5. Simple past tense. The simple past tense describes completed actions in the past. Structure: subject plus past verb. Examples: I visited my grandparents yesterday. She worked late last night. They watched a movie. We traveled to Siem Reap last year. When telling stories, we often use the simple past tense. For example, Last weekend, I visited my friend. We ate lunch together and walked around the city. This tense is very common when discussing yesterday, last week, last month, or any completed past event. 6. Past continuous tense. The past continuous tense describes actions that were in progress at a specific time in the past. Structure. Subject plus with slash were plus verb ing. Examples. I was studying at 8 p.m. She was sleeping when I called. They were playing football yesterday afternoon. We were having dinner at that time. Imagine a situation. At 7 o'clock last night, I was watching television while my sister was doing her homework. These actions were happening during a specific period in the past. This tense is often used to provide background information in stories. 7. Past perfect tense. The past perfect tense describes an action that happened before another past action. Structure. Subject plus had plus past participle. Examples. I had finished my homework before dinner. She had left before I arrived. They had completed the project before the deadline. We had eaten before the guests arrived. For example, when I got to the station, the train had already left. The train left first, and then I arrived. The past perfect tense helps show the order of past events. 8. Past perfect continuous tense. The past perfect continuous tense describes an action that had been continuing before another past event. Structure. Subject plus had been plus verb ing. Examples. I had been studying for 2 hours before dinner. She had been working all day before she went home. They had been waiting for 30 minutes before the bus arrived. We had been traveling for several days before reaching our destination. This tense emphasizes how long an activity continued before another event occurred. 9. Simple future tense. The simple future tense describes actions that will happen in the future. Structure. Subject plus will plus verb. Examples. I will study English tomorrow. She will visit her family next week. They will play football on Saturday. We will attend the meeting. People use this tense when discussing plans, predictions, and future events. For example, next year, I will improve my English. I will practice every day and learn new vocabulary. 10. Future continuous tense. The future continuous tense describes actions that will be in progress at a certain time in the future. Structure. Subject plus will be plus verb ing. Examples. I will be studying at 8 p.m. tonight. She will be working tomorrow morning. They will be traveling next week. We will be attending the conference. For example, at this time tomorrow, I will be sitting in class. This tense helps us imagine an activity happening at a future moment. 11. Future perfect tense. The future perfect tense describes actions that will be completed before a certain future time. Structure. Subject plus will have plus past participle. Examples. I will have finished my homework by 9 p.m. She will have completed her degree next year. They will have built the bridge by December. We will have arrived before noon. For example, by the end of this year, I will have learned thousands of English words. This tense focuses on completion before a future deadline. 12. Future perfect continuous tense. The future perfect continuous tense describes actions that will continue up to a certain point in the future. Structure. Subject plus will have been plus verb ing. Examples. I will have been studying English for 5 years by 2030. She will have been working at the company for 10 years next month. They will have been living in Cambodia for 20 years by then. We will have been waiting for 2 hours by the time the train arrives. This tense emphasizes the duration of an activity that continues into the future. Real-life practice using all 12 tenses. Imagine a student named Kevin learning English. Simple present. Kevin studies English every day. Present continuous. Kevin is studying English now. Present perfect. Kevin has learned many new words. Present perfect continuous. Kevin has been practicing for 2 years. Simple past. Kevin studied English yesterday. Past continuous. Kevin was studying at 8 p.m. last night. Past perfect. Kevin had completed his homework before dinner. Past perfect continuous. Kevin had been studying for 3 hours before taking a break. Simple future. Kevin will study English tomorrow. Future continuous. Kevin will be studying tonight. Future perfect. Kevin will have completed the course by December. Future perfect continuous. Kevin will have been learning English for 5 years by 2030. Conclusion. The 12 English tenses are the foundation of English communication. They help us talk about the past, describe the present, and discuss the future. Although learning all 12 tenses may seem difficult at first, regular practice will make them easier to understand and use. Read English books, listen to conversations, watch English videos, and create your own sentences using each tense. The more you practice, the more confident and fluent you will become. Remember, mastering tenses is one of the most important steps towards speaking and writing English accurately and naturally. Many English learners find tenses difficult because English has 12 different tenses. However, tenses are not as complicated as they seem. The purpose of tenses is simply to tell us when an action happens. Every action takes place in the past, present, or future. When you understand the relationship between time and action, choosing the correct tense becomes much easier. Learning tenses is essential because they help us communicate clearly. If we use the wrong tense, people may misunderstand whether an action happened yesterday, is happening now, or will happen tomorrow. Therefore, mastering English tenses is one of the most important steps toward becoming a fluent English speaker. The first tip for using tenses correctly is to pay attention to time expressions. Words such as yesterday, last week, ago, and in 2025 usually indicate the simple past tense. For example, if someone says, "Yesterday I visited my grandparents," the word yesterday tells us that the action happened in the past. Similarly, words such as every day, usually, always, and often normally indicate the simple present tense because they describe habits and routines. For example, I study English every day describes a regular activity. Future expressions such as tomorrow, next week, soon, and later often require the simple future tense. For example, I will travel to Thailand next month. Learning these signal words can help students choose the correct tense more quickly and confidently. Another important tip is to think about time before speaking. Before forming a sentence, ask yourself a simple question. Did the action happen in the past? Is it happening now? Or will it happen in the future? For example, if you're talking about your breakfast this morning, you should use the past tense and say, I ate breakfast at 7 o'clock. If you are eating at this moment, you should use the present continuous tense and say, I am eating breakfast now. If you plan to eat later, you should use the future tense and say, I will eat breakfast after my meeting. By training yourself to think about time first, you will naturally improve your tense usage. Students should also practice one tense at a time instead of trying to learn all 12 tenses at once. Many learners become overwhelmed because they attempt to memorize every tense immediately. A better approach is to master the simple present tense first because it is used for daily routines and general facts. After becoming comfortable with the present tense, students can move on to the simple past tense and then the simple future tense. Once these 3 basic tenses are understood, the continuous and perfect tenses become much easier to learn. Building a strong foundation is more effective than rushing through complex grammar rules. One of the best ways to practice tenses is by using your daily routine. Every day provides opportunities to use different tenses naturally. For example, in the morning, you can say, I wake up at 6 o'clock, which is the simple present tense. During breakfast, you can say, I am eating breakfast, which is the present continuous tense. After finishing your meal, you can say, I have eaten breakfast, which is the present perfect tense. Later, you can say, I will go to work soon, which is the simple future tense. By connecting grammar to your real life, you make learning more practical and memorable. Another effective strategy is to keep a daily journal. Every evening, write a few sentences about what you did yesterday, what you are doing today, and what you will do tomorrow. For example, you might write, Yesterday I visited my friend and watched a movie. Today, I am studying English and reading a book. Tomorrow, I will attend a meeting and exercise at the gym. This simple exercise allows students to practice past, present, and future tenses every day. Over time, tense usage becomes automatic and natural. Listening to native English speakers is another valuable learning method. When watching movies, listening to podcasts, or viewing interviews, pay attention to the tenses speakers use. Notice how they talk about past experiences, current activities, and future plans. For example, a speaker may say, I have worked here for 5 years, using the present perfect tense. Another may say, I am working on a new project, using the present continuous tense. By listening carefully, students develop an intuitive understanding of when different tenses are used. Speaking practice is equally important. Many students understand grammar rules, but struggle to apply them during conversations. To improve speaking skills, choose a topic and practice using one tense at a time. For example, if the topic is my weekend, use the simple past tense to describe everything you did. You might say, I visited my grandparents, ate lunch with my family, and watched a football match. If the topic is my daily routine, use the simple present tense. Regular speaking practice helps students gain confidence and accuracy. Students should also learn from their mistakes. Common errors include using the present tense when talking about the past or forgetting to change verb forms. For example, some learners say, Yesterday I go to school, instead of yesterday I went to school. Others say, she go to work every day, instead of she goes to work every day. Mistakes are a normal part of learning. Rather than becoming discouraged, students should view mistakes as opportunities for improvement. Every correction brings them one step closer to fluency. One particularly useful method is the yesterday, today, tomorrow exercise. Choose a verb and create 3 sentences. For example, with the verb study, you can say, I studied English yesterday. I am studying English today, and I will study English tomorrow. This exercise helps students clearly understand how the same action changes according to time. Practicing this method with different verbs can significantly improve tense recognition and usage. In conclusion, English tenses are the foundation of effective communication because they help us describe actions in the past, present, and future. Although there are 12 tenses in English, students do not need to learn them all at once. By focusing on time expressions, thinking about when actions occur, practicing daily routines, keeping a journal, listening to native speakers, and speaking regularly, learners can gradually master tense usage. Consistent practice is the key to success. The more students read, write, listen, and speak English, the more naturally they will use the correct tenses. Over time, what once seemed difficult will become automatic and effortless. My advice to all English learners is simple. Do not be afraid of tenses. Many students worry about making mistakes, but mistakes are an important part of learning. Focus first on the simple present, simple past, and simple future tenses because they are the most commonly used in everyday conversations. Practice them every day in real-life situations. Speak about your daily activities, your past experiences, and your future plans. Little by little, your confidence will grow, and your English will become more accurate and fluent. Remember that fluency is not achieved overnight. It is built through daily practice, patience, and persistence. If you continue practicing consistently, you will discover that using English tenses correctly becomes a natural part of your communication. Good luck, everybody!